David Sealer back in the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you are notified when new videos drop. So this is number 17, the 48 Ways of Wisdom. Actually, this is 17 A and B. I'm putting in an extra way of wisdom. What are the 48 ways to wisdom? These are 48 things you can do in your life to acquire greatness, right? 38 attitudes, I would say, to acquire greatness. It comes from a 2,000-year-old codification of Jewish law called the Mishnah, and one of these tractates of Mishnah is called Pirkei Avot, the Ethics of Our Fathers. Basically, like your all-time greatest hits of things that are good advice. So one of these things, you get the 48 ways to wisdom, 48 ways where you can acquire greatness. And so my rabbi, Rabbi Noach Weinberg, of blessed memory, this is his, one of his keystone classes, the 48 Ways of Wisdom. He massively expanded them and explained them all. And he's right. These things are common sense things that you should incorporate in your life that will gain you wisdom, or just basically whatever it is. If you do these things, you will be able to achieve pretty much whatever. You'll make a much more powerful person, and you will be able to achieve whatever you want. Before we get into it, like, share, subscribe. All those things are freaking awesome. Thank you very much, especially in these days of YouTube shadow banning people who believe in God, which they do quite a lot, actually. Like, share, subscribe, comments very, very helpful. If you want to be really nice, go check out my Indiegogo. Link in the video notes to fantastic graphic novels for your delight and delectation. So as I said, I'm going to give you two ways to wisdom. The first one, they call this one marriage power. I'm going to talk about what it is in a minute. But the second one I'm going to give you right now. This is the second time I recorded this video. The first time, at the end of it, I kind of looked at the camera. I looked at the little screen in front of me. That shows you what I'm doing, which I don't do often. I know it's a massive booger. I'm telling you, this thing was of epic Godzilla-like proportion. This massive booger has been hanging out my nose all day. I figured I better re-record this video. Okay, so yeah, you're getting this a second time round. So that's the 17A is make sure before you record a YouTube video, you don't have a massive booger dribbling out your nose. That's probably very, very, very good advice that I would recommend you. Okay, the second one, way 17. The real one is marriage power. So this whole group of ways is very hard for Aish Torah. This organization, that's Rabbi Noach Weinberg's one of his organizations that he started. Is very, very hard to teach over, because everything's about minimizing things. Like minimizing things that give you visceral pleasure. And this one is actually called minimize sex, right? Minimize sex. So that's going to be a hard sell, because this is basically aimed at a secular audience, a secular, young, unmarried audience. Minimizing sex, that's a hard sell. So they went for marriage power, which kind of works. But yeah, the basic idea of this is called B'miyut Derech Eretz. Minimize Derech Eretz is good manners, but they're using Derech Eretz as a idiom for sex. So basically, sex. So let's talk about what sex is, and and the power of it, because sex is insanely powerful. I would say sex is probably one of the most powerful forces in the world. Forces in the world today. Game of Thrones. In the turgid last season of Game of Thrones, they had a great discussion between Jaime Lannister and I can't remember the other, Bronn, about what's more powerful, money or sex, right? What's the stronger force in the world? And so Jaime Lannister was money. Of course, money's more powerful, because money, you buy armies. You buy armies, and with armies, you conquer cities, and you have complete control. And then Bronn, the Knight Bronn, says, yeah, and what do those armies then do with the money you pay them? They go to brothels and they have sex, right? So sex is a chapter, but it makes a valid point. It makes a very valid point. It's one of the most powerful entities in the world today. It used to be one of the only things more powerful than sex was idolatry. Idolatry, you could perform an act of idolatry, and you could worship an idol in whatever way that they're supposed to worship it, and you would get whatever you wanted, right? It would you would get success, you'll get whatever you wanted. So this was an incredibly hard urge for anybody to resist. It basically nobody did. So around was it 2,700 years ago, something like that, the the rabbis of the temple at the time had the idea of getting rid of the power of idolatry. So what they did was they entombed it. It was like a giant lion made out of fire. They entombed this power of idolatry, and at the same time, the power of magic went out of the world. This thing called Kishiv, you could actually do magic. Magic was a real thing, went out the world. So that went out. That went down well. So let's take out the drive for sexual immorality, impropriety. So they did that, and then they found that nobody would pray, that chickens wouldn't lay any eggs. That basically people just didn't have a drive to do anything anymore. And so they laid it back in well. So I thought that both of the things illustrate the incredible power of sex. So so it's worth thinking this incredibly powerful thing. What is it? What's its function? Like what's it for? Why did God make it? And normally I say this could be for anyone. These 48 ways are basically, you don't have to believe in God to access them. If you don't believe in God, getting control over one's sexual drive, it's just generally beneficial, right? That's going to help you maintain control over your life in general. But if you believe in God, what is sex for? Sex, other than giving us insane amounts of pleasure, and it does that for me. Gives us insane amounts of pleasure. Its real function, as one of its central functions, it creates an emotional bond between husband and wife, right? If the only person you have any form of sexual intimacy with is your spouse, is your wife, I've got a step further. Like I practice something called Shaman Nagir, which I try not touch anybody, touch anybody female who isn't my wife, right? I want to have that very, very intimate, special connection with her and her alone, right? And it does make us, bring us together, right? Physically, but it does, emotionally, I think emotionally and spiritually, it cements a couple together, because again, it's an insane amount of pleasure, right? And it's an insane amount of pleasure that I think one maximizes by being reasonably giving. That's it. I think that's just the way to more enjoy sex. So in Judaism we look at sex as a deeply holy thing, right? For that reason. But again, it's very, very powerful. It's very holy. So therefore, misusing the power of sex, which there's many ways of doing it. I guess you can find quite some websites that will enumerate the ways. I think there's a few out there on the interwebs. There are many ways of misusing sex, but the more that you control that energy, just the more power you have in your life, right? The more general control in your life, and the more happipiness you have in your life. I think one of the greatest paradoxes that the more one looks at porn, right? The more one indulges in porn, I would say the worse their sex life, the worse the reality of their sex life actually becomes, right? That's kind of a universal truism, It's the power again to illustrate the insane power of this is I became religious when I was about 19, 20. So it took me well into my 30s, before I saw the benefits of not watching porn, right? Before it was just something that you didn't do because God said no. But before I saw it actually benefit my life, that's 15 solid years of practicing before you got a return. So there again, that is the power of sex. The power of sex is saying that you should want to control. You should want to dominate it rather than have it dominate you. It's just good advice. There you go. So come back tomorrow and we'll find out what we're minimizing tomorrow in the 48 Ways of Wisdom. We'll find out what way 18 will be. Have yourselves a fantastic day.